Hi, I'm Lizaan van Dyk, or Van Dyk if that's easier to pronounce. I'm Afrikaans and originally from South Africa. We've been living in the Isle of Man since 2018. I am an industrial engineer and I'm working as a business improvement consultant. Industrial engineers make it their mission to improve processes and make it the best it can be. We study engineering, but the principles that we learn can be applied in basically any type of industry. During my career, I've been helping laboratories, factories, retail stores, and even farms to improve. On a typical day, I would go and visit my client's facility to make sure I understand their challenge. I would ask a lot of questions, I would draw up a process flow chart, and I would gather all sorts of data. Back at the office, I would use computer tools and programs to help me analyze the gathered data. I would, for example, use a program like Visio to draw process flow. I would use Excel to do calculations. I can use AutoCAD to draw layouts. Word is also very important because you need to be able to explain your process and your recommendation. Throughout the whole process, I would stay in close contact with my client to make sure that we are always on the same page and that a recommendation doesn't come as a surprise in the end. So when I'm ready to present the final recommendation, I would do so, and I will then stay on board and help the client to implement the recommendation to make sure that we achieve the anticipated improvements. As a left-brained person, it just makes sense for me to work in STEM. I do, however, still enjoy being creative. The problem with that is that I'm not an artistic person at all. So for me, industrial engineering is the perfect fit. It allows me to be creative in a very structured environment. I can, for example, design the internal layout of a factory based on calculations I did. Another reason I enjoy being an industrial engineer is it involves a lot of interaction with other people, which keeps it interesting. Industrial engineering allows for flexible work. You can work flexible hours from anywhere in the world. And lastly, there's always a new challenge. You never work on the same project more than once, so it keeps things new and keeps challenging you. As a consultant, I've been fortunate to work on many different kinds of projects across the world, but for me, the ones that I'm proudest of are the ones where I established a really trusted relationship with my clients. I've been involved in projects which ran across 5, 6, 7 years. I was there from the beginning of the project until the end. One of these projects, or a couple which I've actually done in this way, is the design for clothing factories in South Africa. We started with them while they needed to decide where they want to set up their factory, right up till the end. And it's just amazing to see how something that you've designed on paper based on calculations comes to life. And a clothing factory is very impressive in the sense that it's a production line of, say, 60 meters filled with people stitching the same color of fabric. And just to stand in front of that and see how efficiently they're working based on things you've only planned on paper is just amazing. Industrial engineering in South Africa, where I studied, is offered as a 4-year degree at a university. As far as I understand, it's mostly offered as a postgraduate degree in the UK, so that means that you first need to go study something else before you then can do an industrial engineering degree in addition to that. Once you start working as an industrial engineer, you don't need to take any additional exams, but it's always a good idea to keep on improving yourself and doing short courses to stay on top of your game. So in South Africa, the schooling system is different than in the UK, but in order to be accepted for engineering, I had to at least have mathematics and science as subjects up until the end of school. So when I was younger, I really didn't have any idea what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I visited a career counselor who proposed that I become an industry engineer. I really wasn't impressed with his recommendation because, according to me, engineering was something just done by men. Luckily, I decided to do my own research and to visit the university at an open day to understand more about engineering. And to my surprise, I started university with a class which consisted of half boys and half girls. So it definitely wasn't just something for men, and I'm very happy that I followed this career. This probably applies to any type of career you choose to follow, but something I realized later in my career is that it's very important what type of experience you build up through your career. So when you finish your degree, I would say it's a very good idea to think about where you want to end up in life and to really plan your career out to make that happen. I've been working in South Africa for 10 years before we moved to the Isle of Man, from where I've been working for about a year and a half. At the moment, I am on maternity leave. I have 2 little girls, aged 3 and 3 months, and I'm in the process of setting up a business plan to start my own consulting firm in the Isle of Man. I will be focusing specifically on typical industrial engineering services such as process improvement, modeling, simulation, building tools, and I'm signed up for the Isle of Man Micro Business Scheme training course for early next year, where they will hopefully help me to know exactly how to run your own business. Great, so I hope that today I've inspired you to at least consider industrial engineering as a future career opportunity. If there's any questions or you would like to hear more about what I do, you can find my contact details on the LabTech website.